downtown Main Street, Springfield, Tennessee, and I'm talking with
Allison Steinquist.
Hey, Allison, what's your favorite thing about living in Springfield?
I love the community. It is wonderful. We live here in the historic district, and it is just like one big happy family, supportive. I love all the small businesses downtown. I love the community that the small businesses bring and that they create because they all support each other. It's wonderful. I'm super proud of it because we moved here in 2014, and we knew that something was going to be happening here. We just felt it when we came in, and the owners of our old house told us that they felt like something was bubbling too. So it's really been growing the whole time we've been here. So I'm super proud of it.
Yeah, I'm being told that Springfield is the next thing.
It is.
Are we going to keep that a secret?
No.
Up and down Broadway, across the avenues, East Nashville to West End, Belmead and Bellevue, Midtown, Franklin, Green Hills, Redwood, Donaldson, and Hendersonville. The people, the places, the lifestyle, living, loving in the 615.
Welcome to the Pod 615 with your host, William Kitchens. Today in episode number 5, Destination Springfield, Tennessee, we'll discover what makes this charming town and the county seat of Robertson County such a wonderful place to spend a day or even plan a weekend getaway. A growing community on the rise that intends to keep the small town charm it's famous for. We'll get acquainted with Springfield from a variety of guests that will include representatives from the city government, the Robertson County Historical Society, and a select group of local businesses that want to share their stories and invite you to visit. We hope you'll enjoy this episode of the Pod 615, Destination Springfield, Tennessee. Ace Timmermeier, Tourism Coordinator for the City of Springfield, Tennessee.
I'm here today with Shelia, better known as Ace Timmermeier, the Tourism Coordinator for the City of Springfield. How are you today, Ace?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been in the City of Springfield all day today, taking a tour with a consultant. So it's been a fun day showing him the city and showing him what's special about it. So it's been a great day.
Well, I've been having fun producing this podcast for the past couple of weeks and meeting all the merchants, the shopkeepers, the restaurateurs. A lot of great things going on in Springfield.
It's been fun, hasn't it?
It's fun. I want to move here.
It's a great city. Yeah, well, we would welcome you with open arms. That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's home.
Tell me, you have a message from the mayor to everybody. You'd like to read for us?
I do. I have a message from the mayor. So from the mayor of the city of Springfield, Mayor Ann Schneider, a wonderful woman. She says the city of Springfield is a full-service city home to nearly 19,000 residents with a historic and charming small-town atmosphere, which is why we have quickly become a preferred destination for many coming to the Tennessee area. We have free, family-friendly activities such as the first Friday Night Market and Sunset Concert Series, the annual Freedom Fest celebration, Winter Wonderland, all that paired with the many unique and locally owned boutiques and restaurants located in the Springfield Town Square Historic District. There's lots to enjoy here. We also invite you to spend time in our premier park system by taking a stroll on the beautiful Springfield Greenway. Have a family day at the Splash Pad at Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Take your pup to Central Park Dog Park, located at Garner Street Park, or enjoy a round of disc golf at J. Travis Price Park, all located right here in Springfield. Speaking of golf, Springfield is also home to the award-winning Raymond Floyd designed Legacy Golf Course, an 18-hole championship golf course, home to many championship playoffs. Whatever you're looking for, Springfield, Tennessee is the place for you.
So, Ace, that's a city growing.
It's a growing city. Yes, yes, yes. We are excited to welcome more people here. We have so much to offer families and young professionals. It's a great place to put your roots down.
And there's a lot of tourism here, too. A lot of people coming up for a day trip or just a weekend getaway.
Exactly. And as we're developing the brand for our tourism initiative, a lot of what we're talking about is there are so many things to do because this is a hidden gem. Many people don't know about it. So we want to do our part in telling the story and, curating that content so that you guys know how to find us, because we want you to have that experience here in downtown Springfield, Springfield, Tennessee. There's Springfields everywhere, but there's only one Springfield, Tennessee, and it's a special place. We would love to showcase
that would be a great city slogan.
Oh, okay. I love it. Let's build that.
There's Springfields everywhere, but there's only one Springfield, Tennessee.
Ooh, I love it.
Speaking of which, you're sandwiched in between 24 and 65, the interstates. One running east and west, one running the other running north and south, both going up into Kentucky and down through the heart of Tennessee. So people can get to you from either interstate just about equally, right?
Exactly. So we're a short 30-minute drive from Nashville. And I don't want to anchor us too much to Nashville, but we do know that that's our capital, our state capital. It's Music City. It's what people travel all over the world to come and see. So we know that's a special place, but we want you to know that you can find that peaceful place to come and relax, come take a break with your family and really enjoy some amazing amenities. Take a drive on one of our backcountry roads to get here. We encourage you to turn off that interstate, right? Turn off the interstate, come see us, come take the drive. If it's the fall, it's an excellent opportunity to come see the leaves and you're driving through, and it's almost like you're driving through a tunnel of color to get here to our charming, small town, and have a unique and wonderful dining experience in one of our amazing restaurants. We have plenty to offer right here on our square, but it goes beyond that as well. So there's lots to offer you as far as a great place to sit down with your family, or maybe you want to sit down with a colleague or your best friend and catch up over a nice cocktail. There's lots of opportunities for you to enjoy a unique dining and drinking experience.
And understand now, you don't even have to drive here. You can fly here. You got a brand new terminal that's open. You can fly in to Springfield, Tennessee.
100%. Oh, Springfield, Tennessee. Listen.
Tell me about the airport. Well, that slogan works.
It does. There's only one Springfield, Tennessee. So we have an amazing Springfield, Robertson County Municipal Airport. We have the opportunity to welcome in your large jets. We also have a terminal, the brand new terminal that you were talking about, that's open to the public year round. We do hold open hours, so I encourage you to go on the website. You just Google Springfield-Robertson County Airport and you should be able to find it, but you can come and watch the planes taking off and the planes landing. We have some very large Learjets that park on our runway. We've got some larger corporations like Electrolux and Unarco that their owners do fly in, and that's a pretty cool and exciting time to see a huge jet that takes up the whole runway and with its
and you
wingspan.
also you can rent a car there with Enterprise, and you can also...
You have a courtesy car. Exactly. That's courtesy of Enterprise. But you can order the car and have them pick you up at the airport. It's local, and we encourage you to take the time to drive around downtown. So if you're coming here, even if you're just stopping over, let's say you decided that you want to make Springfield, Tennessee your stopover spot to refuel, come and stay a couple hours with us. Get one of those cars, use the courtesy car, drive around downtown Springfield, have lunch at the depot, go to Mystic Picnic if you have the opportunity. If you got somebody to drive you, that's Mystic Picnic Whiskey and Wine Bar. Maybe you want to check out Public House. There's lots of unique, locally owned dining options that are right here on our square, and we're proud of that. We can't leave out Etta Ray's. Can't
leave out Etta Ray's or the Catfish House.
Or the Catfish House. Historic Park is another great place that you could stop in and have a coffee and maybe get a sandwich. Born and Raised Market. I mean, William, I could just keep going on. We
love some of our corporate entities, but we're a buy local, shop local kind of town,
exactly.
Right?
Well, because those are our friends and family. They've invested here. They've invested in our city. We want to invest back in them by bringing as many people as possible to come and have that experience. We know it's special. We want to showcase it for you guys. And we know that when you come here and you sit down and you have a meal and you go shopping in some of our unique boutiques, that you're going to find a reason to want to come back.
Yes. Great place to spend a day or two shopping, playing golf.
I'd love you to stay 2 days.
Yeah. When I spoke with Karen, I suggested that I didn't mean to sound misogynistic, but I know women play golf too, but,
yes, absolutely.
But guys got something to do while the wives shop. If they want to, the wives can spend a day shopping, and
maybe the husbands need to go shop. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, Main Street Boutique, located at the corner of 7th and Main, she actually has some amazing barware and men-focused retail items. So, it's not just for our lady friends or those you're trying to buy a baby gift for, or, a third piece to go with your cute outfit for our ladies. But there's also some incredible barware. She's got some things that are antiques and things that are new, and it's a shop for anyone.
All right, so we'll rephrase that. Get an early tea time for your wife and yourself.
There you go.
Get the early tea time. come have
All the
lunch
shops. Yeah,
at one of the many
exactly.
chef-driven mom-and-pop restaurants
I
here.
love it, yeah.
And then do a little evening shopping.
Exactly. And, William, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the cultural food opportunities that we have, too. We have an amazing Korean restaurant, Galbaya. It's located in the city of Springfield. Nearby, it's off of Tom Austin Highway. The owners there are just incredible, unique dining experience. That's that homemade Korean food. Some of the best kimchi I've ever had. I've been eating kimchi my whole life. Bibimbap. I mean, oh my gosh. Miss Rachel is one of the owners and the wife of the duo that put on Galbaya, and she is just wonderful. She will complete the experience. She'll enjoy the food, but really she's what makes it special, in my opinion, aside from the amazing kimchi. But then we also have some Salvadoran food that's available off of Memorial Boulevard. It's still within the city limits, just outside of the downtown area, but some incredible fish soup. Oh my gosh, and pupusas. You'll be blown away.
You're a foodie.
I'm a foodie. I love food from other cultures as well, because we get so stuck in the rut of the meat and threes, and I love those, and they have a special place in my heart, right?
Yeah.
But I also want
You need diversity.
Yeah, I want the diversity, and I think that's really important as we look at when we're bringing in people. You've got the cultural feel too. You want to have that experience, and if you're here and you want to come eat at the Catfish House and have a great, amazing meal, but then you want another cultural experience, I encourage you. It's just right up the road.
Folks, this is the perfect place to come. My wife and I are in love with Springfield. I know you will be too. Come see everybody here in Springfield. Tell them pod615 sent you. Ace, thank you for your time and continued success.
My pleasure. Can't wait to have you guys here.
Kelly Marie, owner of Kelly's Jubilee, a unique accommodations and event facility for weddings, corporate retreats, family vacations, romantic getaways, bachelorette, bachelor, birthday, holiday, and other events.
All right, we're here today with Kelly Marie at this beautiful event oasis just outside of Springfield, Tennessee. I am just amazed by this place. Cabins, bungalows, tree houses, a mansion. You've got a treehouse mansion that can sleep 16 people.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is.
Tell me how you came to discover this beautiful place.
At the time, I was living in the Canary Islands in Spain, and my friend sent me the video of this land that was for sale. And I was pretty happy living in Europe, and I saw this video, and my heart just jumped. And I was like, wow, I could live there the rest of my life. And so I flew like 36 hours to get here on all kinds of different little planes. And when I arrived, I just knew it was the place.
So you decided then to make this home?
Yeah.
Tell me about the types of events you can host here. Bachelorette parties, birthday parties, romantic getaways.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to discriminate. Bachelors can have their parties too.
Absolutely. Okay.
You could have both. There's enough buildings. The event center sleeps several people, so you could have the boys have the bachelor party and the girls have their bachelorette party in the mansion. So it sleeps a lot of people. We can facilitate family reunions, birthday parties, bridal showers, Christmas dinners, corporate retreats, just romantic getaways in the Ark. There's fishing, there's bird watching.
Yeah, let's talk about the Ark. You have an Ark on here. What a unique building. How many folks can stay at the Ark?
It will sleep 4.
Okay,
it will sleep 4. Yeah.
Nice. 55 acres?
55 acres.
That's a lot of upkeep.
Yeah, it is. We just recently went to a glamping convention, and we're going to buy domes, and we're going to buy all kinds of unique structures to put on, and we're thinking about finding really cool spots in the woods overlooking the creek, or where we have some exciting things on the way, yurts, trail wagons, covered wagons. It's going to be fun.
Oh, so you're expanding still.
Yeah.
You got a lot of land to do it on.
We do.
I know you had all kinds of critters wandering around here. What kind of wildlife can people see here besides your besides sugar and baby, your babies?
Yeah. Well, we have a fox family, and so that's why we have to have cameras around the chickens. So she usually comes every night. We see her on the camera, but we just make sure everything's locked up. We don't hurt anything. We don't believe in that. I have a picture of an eagle who came, a giant white eagle eating one of the chickens, which that was unfortunate, but beautiful animal. We have hawks and owls and all kinds of beautiful birds. There's great blue herons, Canadian honkers. But on the camera, we've caught wild mink, which I guess you never really see because they're very elusive, but I saw it on the camera. I didn't know what it was. I had to show someone. There's an otter. There's 2 otter families, one by the mansion, one by the Civil War cabin, with their babies. There's groundhogs. Where I'm from in California, we don't have groundhogs, so I get really excited about the groundhogs. They're so sweet. There's, of course, wild turkey and their babies, and just, it's alive. Deer, all kinds of stuff.
We say it's an oasis. It actually is an oasis. It's
It
beautiful
really
here, folks. And you can visit, you can book reservations at kellysjubilee.com.
Yeah.
You can make reservations. And also, Kelly, you are a experienced chef. I understand you studied at Cordon Bleu, and you've been to over 60 countries. That's quite a sampling of menu items.
That's right. And I've stayed at a lot of hotels and accommodations and even safaris in Africa and tents. And that's what was kind of interesting when we went to the glamping convention, because I see the potential of having, like, tents are not tents. I mean, they have bathrooms, they have kitchens, they're fabulous. So I'd love to do something like that in the future. But I appreciate the finer things and having a really nice bed and nice linens and nice pillows. And I think hospitality is a gift, and when you have fresh flowers and something sweet. And
tell me about the room we're in right now, because this is comfy. I don't even leave. It feels like just a perfect getaway. You also have an event hall, right?
Yes.
So it's not just the spaces where you can spend the night. So you can do things indoors and outdoors.
Correct.
Here on the grounds.
Yes.
How large of an event facility would you say that building is?
It can comfortably seat, 75 to 100 people.
Perfect for a wedding.
Yeah.
For an intimate wedding.
And
you can do a
outside.
ceremony and the reception here.
Exactly.
You've got access to all sorts of amenity packages. Tell me about those.
Well, we have romantic packages where you can have flowers and sweets and banners and champagne on ice. Yeah. Or we have, like, the birthday package where you could decorate for birthdays. It could be a surprise, and we put out a cake and a card and banner and stuff. S'mores packages if you want to sit out by the fire. Midnight munchies or late night munchies where we have snacks and treats available for you. We're just kind of custom. So if you just call us and ask us, we've cooked Thanksgiving meals for people, or Christmas or we just recently had a women's retreat and we did all the meals. We did 6 meals for 25 ladies. And so it's kind of custom. Whatever you want, we can make it happen.
Tell folks how they should go to kellysjubilee.com. How would they call you?
My number's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, my number's listed. And that's really the best way, because I get so many messages and emails, and a lot of times they kind of get lost in the shuffle. But you can call me. It's my direct line.
Just book your reservation. So you provide cater. It's a one-stop shop at Kelly's Jubilee.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. There's hiking. It's on the water, so we have 2 ponds that you can fish in. Carr Creek is always running because it's spring-fed. It's beautiful. This is a gorgeous time of year. The leaves are starting to change. But it seems to be really beautiful all the time. The infrastructure is great. They planted a lot of bulbs, and there's a lot of perennials. So it's just really beautiful. We've had people come here, like horticulturists, and they say that there's wildflowers here that they thought were extinct in Tennessee. And they're just like, wow, I don't use any pesticides or herbicides for the birds and the animals, which takes a lot more work, but I think it's worth it.
Any unique visitors? Anybody you've had stay here that was... any celebrities? Something was filmed here, right? You had
When they filmed the Hallmark movie in Springfield, the lead star stayed here. When we had our website put up, it shows you where people are looking, and it'll be like Russia, China, all over the world. People are looking at Springfield, Tennessee, and I can't figure out how that's happening, but it shows us right now. Sure. Someone from Poland is looking at your website, and it's amazing that people are really, I don't know if it's because of the unique structures, but it's really interesting.
This would be a wonderful place for anybody wanting to come to Nashville, because you're not that far from Nashville.
Exactly, 30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes to Nashville. So you can, if you're planning to visit Nashville, It's just a 30-minute drive to Nashville. So your bachelorette party, your bachelor party, we won't leave those guys out. Your wedding, you can accommodate plenty for an entire wedding party.
Yeah, we have people
the parents,
do
the
yoga
in-laws,
retreats or whatever. Yeah, local people. People come from all over, actually, and I think it's a good mix because there's nature and wildlife and peace and quiet and beautiful serenity, but there's also, it's not that far away. I mean, they think that we're in the middle of nowhere, but it's like a mile and a half to Kroger, Walmart, hospitals, stores, whatever you need, and then 30 minutes to a big city where there's lots of entertainment, museums, fun things to do.
And most of your spaces here have amenities, have a kitchen.
Sure, yeah. Everything you need.
Wi-Fi is exceptional.
Yes.
Yeah, and unlike other places out in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
I've stayed in Airbnbs where you couldn't even get a signal, couldn't get cell reception or anything. This is a great location. Kelly, thanks for being with us here today, and I wish you much success. Folks, you got to come out here. If you're in Nashville, this is the perfect place to come for a little staycation, a romantic getaway. Come tour the town of Springfield, and be sure to stay at Kelly's Jubilee. Reach her at kellysjubilee.com online. Book your reservation.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
One of Tennessee's most unique places to visit and experience is right here in Springfield. Whether a family trip or a romantic getaway, bachelorette party, or corporate retreat, Kelly's Jubilee is an event haven oasis. A collection of 11 spectacular spaces await you here for a relaxing stay. Tree houses, cabins, bungalows, and even an ark are located on the beautiful grounds that welcome a change from the traditional hotel or Airbnb. Accommodations range from single rooms to a spacious treehouse mansion housing 16 guests. A wonderful selection of add-on amenities will complement any occasion. Kelly's Jubilee is the ideal spot for an all-inclusive wedding event, the perfect backdrop for your dream ceremony and reception with a wide array of catering options. Magical moments and memories are what makes Kelly's Jubilee the perfect venue for your wedding day or for any event. For reservations and more information, find us online at kellysjubilee.com.
Located in downtown Springfield, Tennessee, the Springfield Antique Barn is a must-do shopping experience. Housed in a climate-controlled 100-year-old tobacco barn, this beautiful 32,000 square foot historic structure is home to over 130 unique vendors on 2 floors. New owners David and Kathy cordially invite you to come by and take your time browsing this wonderful oasis of classic keepsakes from days gone by. From jewelry to furniture, collectibles, and decor, the Springfield Antique Barn has something for everyone. Vendors are always replenishing their stores, and we're open 7 days a week excluding certain holidays. Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 12 until 5. Follow us on Facebook.com/Springfield Antique Barn and plan to visit us at 700 Willow Street here in Springfield. Come find your treasures.
Bob Smith, Shane and Karen Shoemaker, owners of BS Brew Works, Robertson County's only craft beer brew house.
All right, I'm here today at BS Brew Works with owners Bob and Shane, the pub guru, Karen, right? Is that, how'd you get
I'm an owner too.
You're an owner too.
I just didn't get a letter on the wall.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
Well,
the wives are the ones who named it BS in the first place, so.
that's a great name.
There was a reason for that.
You guys met.
And then we said that it was Bob and Shane, but
So Bob and Shane, you guys have been friends for how long?
Oh gosh, we first met in 2004. Yeah.
Yeah. That was at church? Or?
At church, yeah.
Church.
Sunday school, yeah.
And one of you started making beer. Whose idea was it to come up with brewing beer?
That was Shane's.
Shane?
Yeah.
All right.
He came in one day and asked me what we were doing one weekend. And I said I didn't have any plans. He said, well, we're brewing beer. I said,
Brewing
okay,
beer.
let's go.
Fast forward 2019, you're refurbishing this building here in Springfield and opening BS Brew Works.
Yes.
Did it just become an addictive hobby for you both, or
Oh, yeah.
you decided to turn it into a business?
Yeah, it was. We had gotten into, the craft beer scene, as we would have, gatherings at our houses or whatnot, or going out, and craft was becoming more and more readily available. And we just enjoyed the different flavors and things that we had not really been exposed to. And so that first, kit brew of an Irish red, as I recall.
Yep.
Yes.
In our kitchen.
In our kitchen, a little 5-gallon batch of beer that we fermented in the closet and bottle conditioned, and turned out pretty decently. And we just fell in love with the process. I think both of us have dabbled in different things over the years. I roasted coffee for a while at home, and it was interesting, but not as all encompassing as brewing. And
then their vessels got bigger, and I would open a closet door and there'd be beer in there, and I'd go up to the attic and there'd be beer up there, and sometimes it was wrapped in a heating pad to keep it a particular temperature. And
you live in an old house, you have to move stuff around.
and then they moved out to our patio, and I think our neighbors thought they were doing something they ought not be doing because it looked a little sketchy. And then they moved out to a building on Bob's in his backyard, and his wife and I finally were like, we're done with having all of this in the kitchen and so they moved out to that building.
Yeah, we built a dedicated brew space on Bob's property.
At what point did you think, hey, maybe we ought to do this for a living? When did that come about?
About the time we started getting offers to buy our beer instead of just giving it away.
Our doorbell would ring, and I would open the door, and there would be men standing there with crowlers, and they'd say, "Shane home?" And I was like, what are we running out of our house here?
Nothing. Public service announcement. It is illegal to sell homebrewed beer.
All right, we have that clarified. That's great. So I guess you guys realized you had a fan club, and maybe you should, get a permit and open up a building. Now, this building is absolutely beautiful. And one thing you notice here when you come in, there's only one TV. So you guys wanted to create an environment to enjoy the beer that wasn't traditionally a sports bar, even though I believe this is a Predators official drinking spot.
It is.
Yep.
But one TV, no loud music. You do offer live entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
On Saturday nights?
That is correct.
Yeah. But that's not a traditional way to sell beer. How
Well, Karen and I, and Bob too, as we have traveled over the years, and as we were leaning into this idea, we literally started visiting other breweries and tap rooms in Tennessee and other places in the country, and just seeing how people were doing things, what they were doing, what we liked, what we didn't like. And one of the things that we have generally found at craft beer tap rooms is they're not sports bars. They're not, as some people, so they see tap room or brewery or whatnot, and they think they're going to walk into some smoke-filled, dim pool hall kind of environment. And those are people who have never been exposed to the craft movement.
It's more like pubs in England or Ireland, where you go and have conversation and you can bring your kids. And that was very important to us, that people be able to come as a family and spend time. And also that we had counter service, so you're not tied to a table and you're not feeling pressured to turn the table necessarily. We have people, maybe a couple will come in and maybe they'll sit at the bar and then they get to talking to somebody and they'll move to a table. Maybe they'll play a board game. It's been really fun to watch people, strangers, become friends because they're not sitting staring at a TV.
So it really is about a sense of community. Just create an environment where you come, enjoy a couple of beers and talk with friends and not spend time on social media.
Yeah. Well, and we had been open right at 6 months when the pandemic shutdowns happened. And we weren't completely shut down, but we couldn't do any dine-in. It was all takeout and delivery. And we could do that with the beer and the food. And we had people come in and say, we're not going to let you all go out of business. We didn't know we needed a place like this. And we're going to make sure you make it through this. And they did.
That is an incredible story. That really, in 6 months, you guys did create a sense of community.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people love about Springfield, why so many people want to move here and live here and come here.
I agree.
I'm blown away by the ambience here. I'm blown away by the food. Karen, those wings are absolutely phenomenal.
Thank
and
you.
I am a wing snob. These guys may be beer snobs. I'm a wing snob. And they're not snobs. I'm just, having fun.
Well, recently,
But those wings are incredible.
Recently, I came out and a lady said, "Did you make those wings?" And that's a tricky question. Maybe you say yes, and maybe you say, "I don't know. Did you like them?" And she said, "My husband is from Buffalo. He had given up on wings in the South. He's tried them everywhere we've gone." And she said, "We came in tonight, and he said, 'Okay, I'll try one more time.'" And she said, he said they were the closest to New York wings that he had had. Now, I don't know. I've never had wings in New York, but he said so.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I first had buffalo wings from a bartender from Buffalo who came to Atlanta, and he decided to make wings for myself, and the staff one night, and they were baked like you do them. They were absolutely baked, and he said that was the way they originally are. Now, some people from Buffalo will tell you that's not the truth, but that was the truth. The first time I had wings, they were baked.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic.
So they're healthier for you because
absolutely. Yeah.
We're looking out for you.
Yeah.
When they're served with vegetables. So.
And I interviewed some people on the street last night. It's a Friday night event, and one of the gentlemen, you can combine your beers here, I think, because he told me his favorite brew here was something called Biscuit.
Yes.
Now, I think I laughed and said, "Does that come with jelly or anything?" Tell me about Biscuit. How did that combination come about?
That is a Sunny Vanilla and the Barren Plains mixed together. It was just something we started coming up with some customers one time, and what was it? The color looked kind of like a golden biscuit.
Bottom of a well-baked biscuit, yeah.
And then we just started calling it the Biscuit, and it's been popular ever since.
It's a lot of fun here, isn't it?
It
customers are really, it's you don't feel like you're at work when you get up in the morning, right? You guys,
after a night like last night, yes, we absolutely felt like we had been at work.
Well, they say, find what you enjoy doing and find a way to make money with it, and you'll never have to work a day in your lives. How long did it take to open up this place?
Pretty unbelievably, when we look back at it, it was about 10 and a half months. We were given key to an empty shell of a dirty building on November 1st of 2018. And we opened September 14th of 2019 with a fully functioning brewery and kitchen, a more limited menu than we have now. But yeah, to look back at that,
6 beers on tap.
You only had 6 beers on tap. Several of the menu items. We didn't open with wings or nachos or quesadillas.
No, we had a very limited food menu. We added quesadillas. After that, we added wings during the shutdown. And we've added nachos.
Well, I want to invite everybody from Nashville and anywhere listening to this podcast to come check out BS Brew Works in Springfield, Tennessee. It's a great place, great ambience, friendly staff, and great food, great beer. Come see them.
Thank you.
We try.
Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Located on historic Main Street in Springfield, Tennessee, BS Brew Works serves as Robertson County's only brewery and tap room. Co-founders and brewers Bob and Shane, hence the B and S, along with Shane's wife Karen, the resident pub grub guru, dreamed of not only establishing a first-rate brewery, but also a community gathering space where folks could sit, talk, and make new friends without blaring music, smoke, or the bombardment of TV screens from every direction. Established in 2019, we're located at 1010 South Main Street right here in the heart of downtown Springfield. Check out the website at bsbrewers.com for upcoming events and sign up for our newsletter to stay in the know. Come visit us to find your perfect beer, enjoy our excellent pub-style food, and make a new friend or two. BS Brew Works, craft beer, craft food, and craft community.
Lacie Bea, Marketing, Communications, and Event Coordinator, along with Martha Haley, Outreach Program Coordinator for the Willow Oaks Center for Arts and Learning.
pod615 is proud to be here today with Willow Oaks Center for Arts and Learning. I have Lacie, who is Communications Director, Marketing, correct? And I have Martha, who's newly in charge. She's been with the center for a while, but she's now newly in charge of a new outreach program that the center has developed. Good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
We're excited to have you here.
Well, I'm excited to be here. When I saw this place, I realized not many places, not many cities or communities have such a great facility like this where you do so much for the community. You're a nonprofit. You're a 401c. But you're funded by visitors, guest parties, all types of activities.
Well, the Tennessee Arts Commission are huge sponsors and supporters of us, and we are so thankful for their support.
Tell me what you have to offer here. And if somebody can just walk in off the street, or they can book an event. It could be a bachelorette party. It could be a birthday party. And what can someone do when they come here? Tell me what you offer.
It's funny when people walk in here and they decide to do something, they don't know what they want to do because they have so many opportunities, and that's our favorite thing. So we go through everything from visual arts, fiber arts, humanities, so writing, calligraphy classes, watercolor classes, painting classes. We have painting parties. I know everybody's heard of Sips and Strokes, so it's kind of the same thing. You can have your own little sip and stroke party here. You can bring wine or you don't have to. We have different categories for adult parties. We've got paintings for children parties. Some kids we've done resin workshops. They've done pottery classes. Girl Scout troops have done classes here. Family reunions have had art classes. We've had families do a collaboration for a wedding anniversary for grandparents, and everybody painted something from their life. They emailed me some really cool stuff. So their grandparents have this whole mural of paintings from their entire family, which was really fun to be a part of.
How long have you been here?
Since 2007. Musetta Swan Miller, she's a native to Robertson County. She founded it after she came back home from New York after her studies. She's pretty fascinating person.
Is she still with the center?
Oh, yes, she's our director and our founder.
Wonderful.
Was your mom calls her our fearless leader? Yeah.
Awesome. How many folks do you have on staff here?
So we have about 7 on staff now, and that's the most we've ever had. For the first, I would say, 10 years, it was just a staff of 2.
And teachers, instructors?
And 30 to 40.
30 to 40 now.
So it's a combination of staff and volunteers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That work at the center.
Yes. And all the instructors are classically trained. They're educated in arts. A lot of them have their masters in fine arts and their specific medium that they work and they share.
Lots of them are featured in galleries across the country and are well known.
And just love sharing it. They love having a place where they can teach and they continue their learning. Instructors are taking classes here from other instructors. That's always fun.
Martha, you're in charge of a new program that just developed, an outreach program, so you can go out to the community and take some of these opportunities to the public, such as a senior center maybe, or
yes,
a daycare facility even.
We can go to senior centers. We can go to elementary schools. We've worked closely with Brands for Pride.
After school programs. There's a lot of schools in Robertson County.
Wherever there is a need for artistic
opportunities, experiences,
instruction.
Is art still taught in Robertson County? Can you take art classes in elementary and high school?
Yes. And though I will say that until recently, not every middle school did have opportunities for art classes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just in Robertson County. You can go into how many counties?
We can go wherever we want. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the furthest has been Nashville at this point, but anywhere anybody calls, then we would share our artists.
If they want us there, then we'll be there.
Yeah.
I don't want to limit, because there are a multitude of opportunities here for artistic endeavors. What's your most popular?
Recently it's been our folk arts.
Yes.
So, we're really proud of our folk arts. So her mom is actually our program coordinator, and I'm sad that she's not here because she's awesome. She's actually a weaver. So we've, with the Tennessee Arts Commission grant, we got tabletop looms. So our weaving classes, candle making, soap making,
blacksmithing.
The blacksmithing filled up immediately, and that's a demonstration and a workshop where people will actually get to forge with a burning fire.
The center puts on several events a year. You have 4 primary events that you put on. You want to tell me what those are and when they take place?
I definitely do. So we have 4 events, but 2 of them happen to be free to the community every year. Our first one we have every year is our annual fundraiser gala. We have a spring dinner and dance. It happens every April. We have a live band. It's a lot of fun. People come. We have a lot of fun. We have some local and kind of around the region artists donate some pretty impressive art. So people have the opportunity to bid on that during a silent auction. Usually, in the past, we've had a chorale concert. We've had people really get to learn about our program, and they get to experience and see what the need is and where our need is. And that's what our community shows up for us. It's a night of fun. It's a night of support, but we have a blast. And Roger Bunch is our artistic director, and he transforms the center. Each year is a different theme. Last year it was a Starry Night, and our lighting guys, with a vision from Roger, we basically had a Van Gogh experience. We had projection everywhere. So we try to every year do something creative, impressive, and really immerse our community in that kind of opportunity. Then in May, we have our Multicultural Arts Festival, which we're kind of reworking this. We've got some really big ideas to really offer different cultural arts experiences to our community in a really large, vibrant, colorful way. You'll just have to keep us in mind in May.
Traditionally, we do it as a 2-day festival. We'll have it on Saturday where it's open to the public. Everybody can come and they can see performers, anything from African drummers to flamenco dancers. It's really fun. We have free games, free art projects for all ages. And
Usually
then
about 2,500 free art projects are completed on that Saturday.
This is the type of thing and happenings that happen in large urban areas, New York City, Atlanta, Chicago, Nashville, L.A. You guys are in Springfield, county seat of Robertson County. You guys are putting on major events. That must be, you have a lot of volunteers that must be helping you out to do this, and a lot of imaginative
We do.
people.
We have a very active, amazing board, and a lot of community support. We're really proud of that, and we have a dedicated staff too. Like, I may be event coordinator and marketing, but I couldn't do what I do as well without this, how well our entire staff works together. It's fun. It's
we're
creative.
all each other's support system. Mm-hmm. We all work
I want to
together.
encourage our listeners in Nashville and all of Middle Tennessee to come up here to Willow Oak and check out what they're doing. Now, they can go online.
Yes.
Tell us the website and what they can find there, your events calendar.
Oh, yes. So if you visit us at www.willowoakarts.org, you can find all of our information. That website is constantly updated. You can register for a class there. You can learn about our annual events. You can read about our board of directors and what they have to say and why they support us. You can learn about the staff. You can learn about our instructors and where they were taught, how they learned, and what their mediums are. You can support us. You can make donations to Willow Oak. You can become a member of our donor circle. There's corporate sponsorships. All the information that you need to know about Willow Oak is on there.
That's awesome. And give us that website address again, because I know I want to type Willow Oaks.
Okay,
it's not
so
Oaks.
it is one tree. Everybody does that, and it's so funny. It's one tree. It's willowoakarts.org.
Yeah,
It's funny if everybody does that.
I didn't want anybody to miss the opportunity.
I always
to find
tell
it.
everybody it's one tree.
One tree. All
One
right.
tree. Yep. And you can follow us on Facebook. Our hashtag is Willow Oak Arts. You put a hashtag in on Facebook or Instagram or any social media. Hopefully you'll find a lot of our images.
All right, now I got to ask you, what's your favorite activity here?
My favorite?
Yeah, when you come, you bring your family. I'm sure you do. What's their
resin?
go-to?
Anything in resin. Mm-hmm. I love to play with resin. And I love to pour paint.
Okay, what about you, Martha?
I love our oil painting classes. They are taught by wonderful instructors. You get so much valuable information, and then you leave with a sense of accomplishment, and you have a wonderful piece of art, even if maybe you didn't think you could do it before. They're very competent.
I think my other favorite part is giving artists an opportunity to continue their craft, to continue their studies. Because, once they graduate, you don't always have an opportunity. If you're not creating yourself at home in your own studio, what am I going to do further with this? Where do I have an outlet? So providing artists with an outlet to teach, to share, to grow, to inspire an entire community is probably, I think it's my favorite part.
What do you think is the most important thing people can get from the center?
So actually I have the perfect answer for this, because I hear all the time, I am not creative at all. I do not have a creative bone in my body. I think that if you step in the store and you see something, the first thing that catches your attention, whether it's a landscape painting or if it's a sketch or if it's blank canvases and all the colorful paints, even if it's papers, we have an instructor who specializes in paper crafting or scrapbooking. Have you ever wanted to crochet? Then it's an opportunity to give it a shot, to try something. because what arts do for you as a person, relieving stress, helping break the mundane of just a corporate world, or something fun to do with the family that's not, completely recreational, or a video game arcade or something like that. Something different. It's a memory made.
That's right, folks. Follow them on social media. You can find them. But get off that phone and come in here and do something different for a change. And you won't be judged here, right? You can come in here and have fun, no matter what skill level you're at.
So I'm also like information technology person, because when you work for a nonprofit, you're in jack of many trades. That's where you know you're going to be a successful nonprofit, when everybody can do everything. Reading through surveys. I love whenever everybody comments, the instructor was so patient, so kind, and so encouraging. And, that's kind of our reputation, and we enjoy that, and we want to assure everybody that when you come in here, you're going to have the best experience, a fun experience. If you didn't like it or you weren't good at it, I tried macrame and I was terrible at it. Terrible. It's the first art I was terrible at. That's okay. That's totally fine. I'm going to try something else. Maybe
How are you doing now?
Oh, I quit.
You didn't make that sweater?
No, I did not.
That's not a macrame sweater.
Nope. Knotting was not my thing.
Okay. All right. Tell us about the chorale. So you have a chorale here? Do they perform?
We do. It's quote unquote an adult chorale, but any students from middle school, or is it high school?
High school to
adults can join it. It's under the direction of David C. this year. They perform twice with orchestra. We have students from Belmont,
Vanderbilt,
and Austin P. orchestral students. They come and perform. They rehearse all year long. They've been to Carnegie Hall twice. Yes. They have an amazing reputation. They have a good time, and they're beautiful.
Pretty impressive. Who's the conductor?
This year is David C. He's a graduate of Austin P, and he was mentored by Roger Bunch, and everybody in Robertson County knows Mr. Bunch.
Once again, I want to thank Lacie Bea and Martha Haley from Willow Oaks Center for Arts and Learning for being on our show today, for sponsoring Pod 615 Springfield. Come on up here to Springfield and visit these ladies and the staff here. It's a fantastic place. It's a beautiful room. Thank you, ladies, for being on the show. And folks, come see them.
With art and language classes, do-it-yourself activities, painting parties, our popular musical chorale, and more, you'll discover your inner creative at the Willow Oaks Center for Arts and Learning. Painting with watercolors, oils, and acrylics, drawing, pottery, weaving, macrame, knitting, blacksmithing, soap making, writing, publishing, calligraphy, and even languages. It's all of your favorite classes from school. Only here, there's no grades to worry about, just having fun. We're open for walk-ins for certain activities, and our center is the perfect location for your upcoming birthday event, bachelorette party, or any gathering looking for a new and exciting experience. A perfect way for family and friends to come together. Visit us online at willowoakarts.org for a look at all of our classes and upcoming events. At the Willow Oaks Center for Arts and Learning, there are no limits on your creative growth.
Danny Atchley, the Vice President and Board of Directors member of the Robertson County Historical Society.
Hey, I'm William Kitchens. I'm here today with Pod 615 with my guest is Danny Atchley, the Vice President and Board of Directors of the Robertson County Historical Society. Thanks for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for asking me. We're delighted to be here.
Not only as Board of Directors, you were a former president
and served on the Board of Directors for the Historical Society the past, about 10 years. It's a fun organization. It's, of course, it's about history, the history of Robertson County. We were founded in 1968 by like-minded individuals who decided it's time to start saving and preserving the history of Robertson County, and we have such a unique history. I think probably more so than most of the counties that surround us in Middle Tennessee. We were founded, back before the country was a country, back before Tennessee was a state, and we are close to Nashville, about 45-minute drive up the interstates, I-65, I-24 to Robertson County. Springfield, of course, is the county seat of Robertson County, and it was founded. Well, actually, people started moving here about 1790, William. Interesting thing, though, Cross Plains, Tennessee, which is a neighboring community of ours here in Robertson County, was the first settlers came there, and thus the first settlers in Robertson County was by the name of a gentleman by the name of Thomas Kilgore, who walked here from North Carolina. He eschewed riding horses, said horses will kill you. So he walked everywhere. And sure enough, he got here on foot in 1778 with the idea of gaining a land grant. He had already fought in the American Revolutionary War, and oftentimes after the war and even during the war, if you had fought for the Revolution, you would have the opportunity to maybe gain land in the far-off wilderness. And in those days, North Carolina had the territory that would eventually become Tennessee in 1796. So Mr. Kilgore walked here by himself, only had clothes on his back and a backpack, his long rifle, and arrived in a place called, well, at that time it was just Red River. He arrived right on Red River. At that time, Middle Tennessee wasn't settled by the Cherokee or the Creek Indians, but they used it as their hunting ground. And they didn't like white people, or anybody else for that matter, coming into their favored hunting grounds. And so Mr. Kilgore knew that when he arrived, that he had better be careful. Of course, he was a long hunter. And long hunters, and the reason they called them long hunters was because they would go off on these hunts for buffalo and deer and elk, etc., for months at a time, thus called long hunters. Also, they all carried long guns, long muskets, and thus the name Long Hunter. So when he arrived at Red River in what is now Cross Plains, he knew he'd better find a nice hiding place, because if the Creeks or the Cherokee found him, chances are he wouldn't be around the next day. So sure enough, he found a cave. Interesting thing about it, creek, there was a creek that ran through it and ran right down into Red River. And so he could hide his footprints as he was going in and out. I mean, this is a guy that knew what he was doing. He'd been a long hunter, and he knew all the tricks of the trade, knew how to trap game, how to hunt them. And at that time, there was buffalo here in Robertson County. In fact, they were all over Middle Tennessee. And you always think of the buffalo being out west, with the stampedes and things like that with the Indians. Well, they were also here back in the 1780s. And in fact, he said one time that he saw a herd of buffalo, and they started coming through in the morning, and they didn't get through until late that night. So again, he found him a cave, decided this is where he would be his hangout. And the reason he wanted to stay here for so long, because if he stayed in this particular area and was able to raise a crop, and that could be anything. It could be tobacco, could be corn, could be wheat, whatever. But he decided corn. So sure enough, he planted corn and started growing it. And at the end of the growing season, which would have been probably, about August, thereabouts, he picked up his ears of corn and headed back to North Carolina, again walking all the way back. Got back to his home in North Carolina, and his wife Lydia, who wasn't crazy about him going on the hunting trip to Tennessee to begin with. Of course, in those days it wasn't called Tennessee. But anyway, he talked her into letting him go, and he did. But then when he returned back, he got back to their cabin in North Carolina. And in those days, if a long hunter came back home, if he threw his hat in the cabin and it didn't come back out, he could stay. So sure enough, he throws his hat into the cabin. Well, it comes right back out. So he decides, well, I think I'll let her cool off a day. At least she knows I'm back. And sure enough, he comes back the next day, throws his hat back into the cabin door. Once again, it sails right back out the door. So this goes on for a couple more days, and finally he throws the hat back in and says, "Lydia, please let me stay this time." And sure enough, the hat didn't come back out. And she eventually, along with her children and some other families, made the long, arduous trek from North Carolina, again, all walking, and came to Red River in what is now Cross Plains, and that's where they settled. And he was able to put together kind of a fort, not anything like Fort Apache or anything like that, but a stockade, more or less. And about 1779, a party came through of white settlers, potential settlers, and it was the James Robertson crew that would go on to help found Nashville. Of course, that would be Fort Nashboro. But they stayed in Cross Plains in Robertson County for about 3 or 4 days, and then they made their trek on to Nashville, and of course, that's what happened to Nashville there. They literally walked across the Cumberland River. It was in December, cold, and they walked across the river. Of course, it wasn't like the river that we have now because of TVA and the dams, etc. But that's how they got there.
Fascinating. Well, tell me about what can people find at the museum here, the Historical Society? It's in the old post office.
It's in the old post office, which was built in 1915. It's a beautiful building. It's about 3 stories, brick, marble floors. It's in almost the exact same pristine shape it was built in 1915. The gentleman that designed the building for the U.S. Post Office was named Edwin Doherty, and he is the same gentleman that was the architect for the War Memorial Auditorium in downtown Nashville. So he had some kind of contract with the post office, and he designed several post offices for them throughout the country. But the one we have here in Springfield was designed by him. It's a unique building. It's got, like I said, it's got 3 floors. We came in there in 1998. The society was founded in 1968, like I said, by like-minded individuals. And then about 10 years after our founding, we moved into a building in downtown Springfield called the Albion Building. We were on the 2nd floor, and that's when we started accumulating our exhibits and different things that we now have in the museum now. But and then we got over into the old post office in 1998. The post office was moved in 1964 to its present location on Willow Street. And after that time, then it reverted to the YMCA. The YMCA was there for a time, about 4 or 5 years, I guess, not much longer than that. And then after that, it reverted to county office buildings. And then in 1998 became vacant because they moved all the county offices that weren't in the courthouse into what is now the county office building over on Brown Street, which is across the way from downtown Springfield. So Historical Society, we're very active. We do a lot of have a lot of activities, something going on all the time. All our history is dedicated to Robertson County and Tennessee history, and we have near all of our municipalities. There's 11 municipalities in Robertson County. We have more municipalities in Robertson County than any other county in Tennessee. But we represent a lot of the different communities that are in there with exhibits. Possibly our most famous exhibit is the Wessyngton exhibit, which is based on the Wessyngton Plantation, which was founded by members of the Washington family who were cousins to George Washington. And they literally walked here from Virginia, again on a land grant, and were able to compile not only that land grant, but also were able to purchase and settle other acreage, and finally got it up to about 12,000 acres. It was the largest tobacco plantation in the world at one time. Of course, you can't say Robertson County without saying dark-fired tobacco. That's an important part of our history. Dark-fired tobacco is unique to Robertson County and a few other counties surrounding us, such as Montgomery, Sumner County, and then counties across the border into Kentucky, like Christian County, Logan County, Simpson County, etc. This area is, because of the climate and the soil and the water, is very conducive for the growing of dark fire tobacco. And dark fire tobacco, the reason it's called dark fire tobacco is because it grows, like normal tobacco, like burley and other kinds of tobacco that's grown in this area. But dark fired, after they harvest it in the summer, then they cut it in the fields and then take it and put it into barns, and then they put down sawdust in the floors of the barn and then set it on fire so it gives off a lot of smoke, and close the doors, and then they keep it in there for about a month. And it seasons tobacco, gives it a unique flavor and a unique color, very dark brown. And the interesting thing about that tobacco, most tobacco that's grown in this area, unless it's dark fire tobacco, goes into cigarettes. Dark fire tobacco goes into chewing tobacco and cigar wrappers. And it's a unique flavor. You can tell in the fall when it's dark fired season, because you can see all these barns that are smoking out throughout the county and right outside of Springfield too. Oftentimes you can smell it right here in downtown Springfield. But it's that unique flavor and smell. In fact, Robertson County people, that they say, it's tobacco season in Robertson County. And people,
how much production is still done here?
Quite a bit. I can't give you a number on how many acres, but I can say this: in 1928, there was so much dark fired tobacco grown here that they put up two signs, one on the south end coming into Springfield and another sign on the north side going out. And they were lighted signs. Now, you think about it, 1928, a lighted sign in a backwater like Springfield, how'd they do that? Because there weren't hardly any lighted signs, period. Electricity was still in its infancy. But they decided, with 5 million pounds of dark fired tobacco that year, they need to start banging their drum, letting people know that that's what they're doing around here and how important it is to Robertson County. So sure enough, they had two lighted signs that said, Springfield, home of the world's finest dark fired tobacco. And they literally shipped it all over the world, still do.
Does the museum have one of those signs?
We have a picture of it. The signs, the one on the north side of town, came down around 1948, so it'd been up about 20 years. The one on the south side, coming in from Greenbrier, actually came down around 1970. The signs had started to deteriorate over the years, and anyway. But now, interesting side note here. Of course, that's always been a marketing tool used by businesses here in Springfield. We used to have signs. I know one of the banks had on the outside of the bank, it said, again, Springfield, home of the world's finest tobacco. They put it on jackets, they put it on caps, they put it on ashtrays, put it on matchbook covers. You name it. If they could put Springfield, home of the world's finest tobacco on it, they would do it. And so, we do have we have a huge tobacco exhibit, because, again, it's such an important part of our history.
It really built the town, didn't it?
That, and then another interesting thing about Springfield and Robertson County was, back until Prohibition kicked in, we had more more whiskey distilleries in Robertson County than any other county in Tennessee. In fact, we rivaled the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. 50 to 75 distilleries were located here in Robertson County over a period of time from, prior to the Civil War right up until early 1900, when they passed the bone dry law. The local churches and women banded together and decided we're tired of walking over drunks when we go downtown. So they passed the bone dry law. This is before Tennessee passed it, which was about 1907, 1908. But they passed the bone dry law and put all the whiskey distilleries out of business, more or less. Nelson.
It never rebounded?
Never rebound. Well, no. See, of course, then Prohibition kicked in for the whole nation, about 1918, I think it was, 1919. And that was in effect till 1932, until Franklin Roosevelt got into office and decided the experiment was no good and did away with prohibition. But whiskey never, they still had bone dry laws in Robertson County at that time too. So no, it never came back. And one of the reasons Robertson County was so good at with the whiskey business was because settled by Scotch-Irish. Scotch-Irish know how to make whiskey. They know how to grow corn, and there's a lot of corn grown around here. We have really good water. The limestone that's underneath the soil here is very conducive for the making of whiskey. So that's one of the reasons, again, soil, weather, water, one of the reasons tobacco, whiskey were such an important part of our history. Still is, to a certain extent. I'm
surprised there isn't a manufacturer that's come back in to take advantage of these.
There's been several that have talked about it, but no, we don't have a whiskey distillery here yet. Now, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. Now, here's an interesting story. They were located here. We had some other whiskey distilleries in Robertson County as well, run by the Woodard family, the Pitt family, etc. And they were even larger than the Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. And Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery was bigger than Jack Daniel's Distillery down in Lynchburg at that time. So
it's a bit of a historic trivia.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, now let's go back just a little bit prior to the 1900s, the Civil War. What about the Civil War history here in Robertson County?
That's a good one.
Was there any major encampments here or battles fought?
Well, no real battles, but after the fall of Fort Donelson and Fort Henry in 1862, of course, that left Middle Tennessee wide open for General Grant and his armies to come in from Tennessee and Cumberland rivers. In fact, they were doing their best to get into Nashville and take Nashville. But in order to do that, they needed to take Springfield. Just prior to the Civil War, they had built a railroad coming in from Kentucky going all the way into Nashville. So they knew if they seized the railroad here, they'd be able to supply their troops once they had taken Nashville. And sure enough, they did. So they came into Robertson County after, like I said, the fall of Fort Donelson and Fort Henry. And the first thing the Union commander said, well, where's your best building in town? We need to have offices. And they said, well, I guess that would be the courthouse. At that time, the courthouse was a red brick building, 2-story. It's not the courthouse that we're familiar with now. It's a red brick building. And the Union commander says, well, all right, get all your stuff out of there because that's going to be our headquarters. And then he asked, okay, now, where is the best church you have in downtown Springfield? And the citizens kind of scratched their heads, but then they said, well, I guess it'd be the Presbyterian church right over here on the corner across from the courthouse. I said, well, okay, go in there and get all your stuff out because that's going to be our new stables for our horses and our mules. And it was. Reason being that oftentimes when they move into a southern town, into a town that had been occupied by the Union Army, they decided to show who was boss. They were going to take over what they thought was important to the local citizens, and that's what they did.
Did the burn down any of the plantations, the destroying the crops?
There was, in Middle Tennessee, Robertson County in particular, was like I said, there weren't any real big pitched battles here, just skirmishes, but mostly it was guerrillas. Guerrilla warfare went on. John Hunt Morgan, famous Confederate cavalryman, he came through Robertson County, seized the town briefly. Also, whenever he would go into a town, he'd find out where the newspaper office is, and then he would print his own newspaper to distribute to the local citizens. And sure enough, he found the local printing press here in Springfield, printed his newspaper, and then...
So long before today's social media, he would take advantage of it.
He would take advantage of it, and then after it was over with, he had his men tear up the printing press so nobody else could use it. And John Hunt Morgan, of course, went on to Ridgetop. He burned a few railroad trestles coming into Nashville, etc. But in fact, at the end of this month, the last weekend, Halloween weekend, they're going to have a recreation of John Hunt Morgan in Ridgetop coming up.
So you'll have reenactors from
we have reenactors, Confederate and Union reenactors, and they'll all be in the Ridgetop at the Ridgetop Park up there. And it'll be.
Is this an annual event or just?
No, this is something they did it several years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, something like that. And this year they're doing it again. So.
Great. Well, tell about when's the museum open?
The museum is open Wednesday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We often have special events where we'll be open in the evenings and sometimes on Saturdays as well. But those are our regular hours. Some of the events that we have, annual events that we host with the Robertson County Historical Society, is Evening in Elmwood, where we go into Elmwood Cemetery, which is just a few blocks from where the museum is located. It's the oldest cemetery in Springfield, founded in 1878, I believe. And what we do is we celebrate the lives of historic people that are buried there. And we have dinner, or have a box supper. We call it Supper in the Cemetery. We set up tables and chairs. And we usually have about 5 different people that we celebrate. And they could be anybody from a judge to a senator to a Civil War hero or just a regular person, man or woman. And then we have actors. We write their life story, and then we have actors come in and become the person in first person. And they tell their life story, like I said, in the first person. In other words, I would say, I'm Danny Atchley, and I was born in 1953, blah, 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 blah. And that goes on about 15 minutes per character. Other events we have this past August, we had an event that was a lot of fun for us, and that was the Last Days of Frank and Jesse James Festival. Back in 1985, William, Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson decided to make a movie. And I don't know, I assume the conversation between the two guys went like this. We're here in Nashville. We need to make a movie together. How about I'll be Frank James and Chris, you be Jesse James? And sure enough, they parlayed that into a production, and they came to Springfield, put down tons and tons and tons of dirt all around the courthouse square to make it look like 1868 here in Springfield. And now the interesting thing, Jesse James never robbed a bank here in Springfield, but he and his gang or men came through Robertson County numerous times. In fact, they did rob the bank in Russellville. But getting back to the movie, so they put together a production team, came up here, and like I said, put down the dirt, and then they did some scenes all around the courthouse, and then they also went up to Orlinda and did some exterior scenes up there. They also did a courtroom scene with John J. Hooker. I don't know if you remember John J. Hooker, but he was a famous attorney in Nashville and kind of a political character as well. And he played the defense attorney for Frank James when he was tried. This was after Jesse's death, after Jesse was assassinated. Frank James went to the governor of Missouri at the time and said he wanted to give himself up, and they gave him the opportunity to do that, and he did. And then they put him on trial, but he was never convicted of any crimes, and he walked free. He lived the rest of his life.
Yeah, those guys, the brothers were pretty popular in the South. They were protected.
They were like Robin Hood. At least that's what people said. But they really weren't like Robin Hood. They didn't take from the rich and give to the poor. They took from the rich and gave to themselves. So anyway, getting back to the movie again, we decided we'd commemorate that fact, that movie, and we was able to get some reenactors that came over from the Russellville. They used to have a tobacco festival up there where they would rob the bank in Russellville, and we got some of those same actors to come over here and rob our bank. Although the museum doubled as the City Bank of Springfield. Men on horseback, riding into town, riding down Main Street like 130 years ago, and anyway, come up riding they come down Main Street and turn left onto 6th Avenue and pull up in front of the museum, which again doubles as the City Bank of Springfield, and go in and rob the bank, but the bank robbery goes awry. The bank president comes running out and says they're robbing the bank, and then a gunfight ensues, and the local townspeople who are outside realize the bank's being robbed, and sure enough, everybody starts shooting each other. Fortunately, nobody was hurt or shot.
No collateral damage.
No collateral damage. No, and it was all blanks, by the way. But it was a great event for us. We had an exhibit for the movie, which we had a lot of memorabilia from 1985. A lot of people in Springfield and Robertson County served as extras or provided services for the movie company. They were up here for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I guess it was, something like that. And so we had quite a bit, photos, newspaper articles. We had the movie. Of course, they made a movie of it. It was made for television movie. It wasn't, and it's a pretty good movie. Johnny Cash, of course, plays Johnny Cash. Pretty much did Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson did Chris Christopherson, and also Willie Nelson had a cameo in it. He played James Younger. So
how about that?
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Good deal. And your website for the museum?
www.robertsoncountyhistorical.org.
Good deal. Danny, thank you for your time this afternoon. It's fascinating.
Welcome.
We could do hours on this.
We've got a lot of great history here.
We'll come back and revisit this another time. Thank you for your time today. And you got anything you want to send out a special invite to tourists to come see you?
Come see us. Recently, we were featured on Tennessee Crossroads. You saw the clip. About an 8-minute segment on Tennessee Crossroads. We had Laura Faber come up with her video crew and spent the day with us, and she saw the Wessyngton plantation, and you can catch that on our website as well. So
yeah, and speaking of that plantation, you're doing something special for the African American community, right?
We do have right now. Like I said, the Wessyngton plantation is possibly our best exhibit or most famous exhibit because it's based on the Washingtons of Wessyngton book that was written by John Baker. He's an African-American historian who, when he was in junior high here in Springfield Middle School, one day in the fall, they gave him a new social studies book. And I think he was about in the 7th or 8th grade.
What year would this have been?
This would have been about 1985, and I'm probably off on that, but for
somewhere in that.
Somewhere, yeah. It's been a good while back. Anyway, John saw the social studies book, and he saw this photo in here, a black and white photograph in the book, and for some reason or other, he was drawn to it. The photo was of an African-American a couple with two other African Americans in the background. And anyway, he took the book home with him that day after school. And when he got home, he showed the photo to his mother and says, I just got this social studies book here, and I find it fascinating. And it seems like I know these people. And he showed this picture to his mother, and she says, I don't know who they are, but your grandmother's coming over tomorrow. Maybe she can shed some light on it. So sure enough, grandmother came over the next day, and he showed her the photograph, and she says, that couple sitting there in the photograph are your great-great-great-grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Washington. Of course, they took the Washington surname, as many of the slaves did at that time. And so that started a fascinating quest by him to find out more about his family that came from Wessyngton Plantation. So even though at a young age he started going out to Wessyngton Plantation, at the time the owners said, yeah, sure, come on out. They let him come to the cemetery, showed him around the place, and then he found out through them that all the records from Wessyngton Plantation had been donated to the Tennessee Archives. The fascinating thing about the Wessyngton Plantation was they kept copious records of everybody that was born, lived there, or died there, both black and white. And so he was able to go to the Tennessee archives and then started piecing together his family, what happened to them before they were freed and what happened to them after they were freed. Not only about his own family, but he was also pieced together records for other families from all over. Because you have to remember, Wessyngton Plantation was the largest tobacco plantation in the world prior to 1860. They had almost 300 enslaved people there, raising dark-fired tobacco, corn, etc. They needed all that, to sustain themselves. Washington Plantation was its own community, had its own school, had its own church, had its own blacksmith, had its own post office, own store. It rivaled probably Springfield at that time, as far as, people on it and what they were able to do. So anyway, Civil War comes around and all that pretty much goes away, although some of the former slaves did stay there. What I'm getting back to with what you alluded to was John Baker. We asked him, one of the neat things was, John, what happened to the slaves after they were freed? And John didn't miss a beat when I asked him that. He says, well, the first thing they did was they built churches. The second thing they did, they started building schools. Third thing they did, they started buying their own property so they could own their own land. And then the fourth thing they did was they started their own businesses, and many of them came to Springfield. And we had at that time, and still do, a very vibrant and active African-American population in Springfield, Robertson County. Of course, they led to making Springfield and Robertson County what it is today.
That's a great story to share. So history needs to be preserved for those reasons.
Absolutely.
Because you got to keep connecting the dots.
You got to keep connecting the dots.
And the author again?
John Baker. We have the book on sale in the gift shop at our museum, and John is adding to the exhibit, and we're going to be telling the story of those former slaves, what happened to them. Many of them went on to become quite successful. I think one of them became a millionaire probably a couple of decades after the Civil War. So
it sounds like Mr. Baker's done well for himself too.
Well,
where is he now?
He's here in Springfield, and he's actually on our board of directors. He recently became a member of our board of directors. But he's a neat guy, great historian, and we're glad to have him.
Great. Well, maybe we should try to get him talking to him as well.
John would be. We've had him come over and do several programs for us, and trust me, you'll pay me after you have him on your show.
Good. Danny, thank you for your time today. Come see the Robertson Historical Society.
Yep.
Located in the old post office here in downtown Springfield. Say hey and tell them pod615 sent you.
Yes, indeed. And thank you again, William. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
El Altino, located at 3418 Tom Austin Highway in Springfield, Tennessee, is the go-to Mexican restaurant in the city. The perfect Tex-Mex dining experience with all of your traditional favorites. Greeted with complimentary house-made chips and salsa, a selection of fresh-made appetizer classics including cheese dip, guacamole, bean dip, and more are available to get things started. If the sound of sizzling beef, chicken, or shrimp fajitas doesn't grab your attention, the other menu items will. Enchiladas, burritos, tacos, chimichangas, and more will satisfy any appetite. And El Altino has the coldest beer and best margaritas in the city. The service is fast and friendly, and the atmosphere is always festive. Visit El Altino and go where the locals go when looking for a great Mexican dining experience in Springfield, Tennessee.
Furniture, decor, and more. At Cream of the Crop Overstock in Springfield, Tennessee, beautifying your home doesn't have to break the bank. After starting a home-based business several years ago, Cassandra Rogers learned to provide quality products for a fair price. Now together with her daughter, Brooklyn, this two-generation family has moved into their retail location at 504 Hill Street, and business couldn't be better. And that translates into better prices for you. All items are brand new and discounted up to 40%. And best of all, unlike the big box chain, our items are in stock. Whatever your style, if you see something you like, that's all we have. So you better grab it. If it's on the floor, it's yours and out the door. Find and follow us on Facebook at Cream of the Crop Overstock and on Instagram at Cream of the Crop TN. Stay in the loop for news and deals by texting CROPTN to 33222. That's Crop TN to 33222.
Anthony Facello, owner of Etta Ray's, a Southern dining experience with a twist.
Anthony, how are you today?
I'm doing great. And how about yourself?
Good, good. Thanks for asking. This is a wonderful restaurant. The decor is gorgeous. Everybody I've talked to here in the town says the food is just excellent. Tell me about the menu and the concept. You're new to Springfield. You've been here, what, about 3 months?
Yeah. Currently, it's just a little over 3 months. We really wanted to go after a deep Southern inspired menu. Our chef and my business partner is from deep part of Mississippi. So that kind of inspired some of the menu items, like shrimp and grits.
Who's your partner here?
Tim Onan is his name.
Okay.
He's our executive chef. So he kind of developed the menu, and we sat down together and kind of tweaked it. But we have fillets, we have ribeyes, we have our spin on a Cuban, but just kind of a Southern spin on a Cuban. We have a muffaletto. So there's it's kind of inspired by the Deep South, but yet it has unique, spin to all of the entrees.
Where do you get your seafood from? Is it?
It's brought in by a purveyor. So we have multiple purveyors that we bring our food in. We don't do, a lot of frozen things. So everything is fresh. We cut our ribeyes and our fillets in house, and we try to keep it as fresh as we possibly can.
And now in the back, you've got dining there too, but it's sort of like got a speakeasy.
Yeah.
Feel about it. It's really cool back there. Folks need to come check that out. Tell us about that.
Sure. The building is designed, and it's a little broken up, but it really works for, how we have our lunch. Our lunch is between 11 and 2, which our front dining room is we use for our lunch service. And then our back is kind of more of a lounge feel. And we open for dinner from 5 to 9. But it's got it's got a vibe to it.
That's great.
How I put it.
Yeah, we do want to let folks know too that it is a non-smoking speakeasy. They can come and enjoy speakeasy without having to endure cigar smoke.
Right, exactly. They can have all the cool drinks they want and have that feel. And then we also have some musical guests that will start in November.
Good. What sort of musical guests would you have back there?
It's all over the kind of the genres, I would say, but it's mainly independent artists that play with guitars or keyboard. But we have some kind of indie folk. Then we have a little bit of country, pop, and then in December we have a jazz artist coming.
Great.
Some Christmas stuff.
What's your most popular item on the menu? Have you found one entree that's a go-to for everyone? Or is there an appetizer you suggest that folks might want to try?
Well, we actually recently just put this on the menu. When you start a business, you develop a menu, and then you say, we knew we would probably look at it in a couple months and adjust because you just don't really know what people will take to. And we replaced something with our pork chop, and that has actually become one of our largest sellers. It has an apricot glaze, and it's a 10-ounce thick pork chop, and it's called, it's a French cut, which has the bone out. It's great.
What about desserts?
Oh, we have a wide range of desserts, cheesecakes. Then we have triple chocolate cake, and then we'll bring in some specialties like we have pumpkin cheesecake right now. So.
Decadent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it goes great. Tell us what brought you to Springfield. What made you decide to open up a location here in downtown Springfield?
Me personally, have friends here in Springfield, and a dear friend of mine, Lisa's her name. She owns a business here in town called Small Town Startup, and it kind of helps people start businesses that have dreams and visions of doing that. And she does classes, and she and I have been friends for over a decade. And she has always said, Anthony, you need to come to Springfield and open a restaurant. And so there was this building, and I've looked at this building probably for 3 years. And finally went to Tim, said, hey, what do you think of this crazy idea? And we pulled the trigger. Yeah.
So he designed the menu,
Mhm.
your partner said, and you have together combined over 30 years of experience
Yes.
in the restaurant industry.
Yeah,
Where did you start?
I graduated in restaurant management and culinary arts, and then my parents owned a restaurant. So I grew up around the industry and said I never wanted to own a restaurant. And so I somehow here I am. It seems like it's always that way, isn't it?
So it was in your DNA.
I guess so.
You didn't want to.
I need a blood transfusion.
Well, how do you like it now? You excited about it?
I am. Any kind of owning a business has its challenges, so it's got its pros and its cons. Let me say it that way. I love people. So one of the greatest joys I get out of it is, during dinner or lunch is walking through and talking with the people and getting to know their stories and, where they're from and how far they drove just to come to our business, which sometimes really shocks me. And
What's the farthest location somebody's driven to have dinner here?
Probably an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's only half an hour from Nashville.
Yeah.
So there should be a great audience in Nashville to make the drive up here, come up here, do some shopping in Springfield, and have dinner at Etta Ray's with Anthony and Tim.
Yeah.
Anthony and Tim. Is Tim always back in the kitchen? Is he?
He's always back in the kitchen
doing something.
Oh yeah, that's his place, and I'm out here most of the time.
Do you offer a seasonal menu?
We don't, but we do specials, and we just started incorporating that. And some of it will probably be seasonally driven. We're right in the Thanksgiving and Christmas season right around the corner, so we'll have some specials, and we'll announce that. Actually, our social media is a great outlet, as it is for a lot of other businesses, to announce that stuff.
Where can folks find you on social media? Facebook, Instagram?
Instagram. Yeah.
Just look for Etta Ray's.
Yep, Etta Ray's.
RAE.
RAE apostrophe S.
And your website?
It's Etta Ray's, ETTARAES.com. EttaRays.com.
What days of the week and what hours are you open?
So we're closed Sunday through Monday. We decided when we opened a restaurant, we wanted to have a little bit of life, because a restaurant and a business can absolutely cover you up. So we said, hey, let's be closed Sunday, Monday. So Tuesday through Saturday, and Tuesday through Friday, we're open 11 to 2 for lunch, and then 5 to 9 for dinner, and same for Saturday.
Great. Anthony, thanks for taking time to be with us here today on Pod 615. I know folks in Nashville and all around Middle Tennessee need to come out here and experience Springfield, and make sure you make plans to either have lunch, dinner, or both.
Yes, please.
There's a lot to choose from on the menu at Etta Ray's. Thanks for being on the show.
I appreciate it so much.
Etta Ray's at 118 West 6th Avenue in downtown Springfield, Tennessee, offers a southern dining experience with a twist. With 30 years of experience cooking in the finest restaurants, our chef is excited to present their vision to you and all our guests. Our caring and committed staff make sure you have a fantastic experience with us. We refuse to compromise on quality at Etta Ray's. That's why we source all of our menu items fresh from our suppliers. No matter what time of year, you can be sure you're eating the best of the season. Etta Ray's is open for lunch Tuesday through Saturday 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. and for dinner 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. We always love to see you in person, but when we can't, Etta Ray's also offers well-packaged takeout. Dine in or out, we want to ensure that your dining experience is always top-notch. For reservations and takeout orders, please call us at 615-380-8085. Join us for a meal to remember.
Doug Voise, managing partner with the Depot Bar and Grill.
Hey, Doug, how are you today?
Doing great.
Thanks for taking time to sit down with the Pod 615 today and talk about the Depot. When we interviewed everybody here on the streets a couple of weeks ago, we asked everybody their favorite restaurant. The Depot. The Depot. The Depot. So I had to come and talk to you. Tell me about the magic of the Depot. The food is fabulous. The menu is diverse. Tell me about when you got started and the concept.
Well, I had originally wanted to open a restaurant here in Springfield following a time at the Springfield Country Club, and things didn't work out. Then shortly after leaving there, I had gotten a call from one of my food sales reps and said he knew of a place that had just opened, but they didn't want to keep it long. They just wanted to open a restaurant and turn around and sell it to somebody who wanted a restaurant. And so I came and visited with the folks here, and that was in 2003, and I kind of took things over in 2004, and it's just been a whirlwind ever since. So it's been a lot of fun.
The food is absolutely incredible. It's great. It's a great menu. Tell us about how you came about the menu and how.
Well, there's a few things that are on the menu that were on in 2003 when the original owners started. Our hobo wraps, the Texas tails, and then grilled chicken breast. Most of the other stuff we have either replaced with higher quality. In other words, our salmon used to come in frozen. We now use a fresh, never frozen product. Our beef patties are, again, not frozen anymore. They're coming in fresh. We try to do as much as we can fresh. We try to do as much homemade as we are able to. And those things are noticed by our guests. We have been, we tried out duck breast one time, smoked duck breast. Everybody went nuts over it. I would have never thought in a million years that smoked duck breast would have gone here, but it did. Same thing with rack of lamb. Never would have thought it would have made it, but that's one of our better selling items now. So I think part of it has to do too with our portion sizes. People never feel cheated here. We give a good solid value for their money.
Yeah, and one of the other things I think that people like about this place, I've seen you, the customers know you by name. Before we interviewed today, you were shaking hands with people coming in and out the door. They know you. You make it a point to get to know your customer base.
Well, one is that we're a small town, so you have the opportunity. I've lived here now 30 years, and you do have the opportunity to really get to know your people. But two, it's part of doing business. If people don't feel appreciated, then they've got many other choices that they can go to.
Well, they certainly do here. Like I said, during our Friday Night Lights interviews, consistently when asked, what's your favorite restaurant in town? The Depot. The Depot. Our favorite place is the Depot. This town has adopted you as their favorite restaurant.
Well, it doesn't go unappreciated, that's for sure.
Tell me about who designed the menu.
Well, as I say, when we first took over, I did not have my general manager, Mike, at the time, but we started slowly but surely, taking some of the very basic, you had brought up earlier before we started something about a diner, and at that time it was very much a diner. And I just wanted to kind of elevate things, and so periodically we would bring on a new menu item, and it would either stick or drop off. And there was one time we had came up with a berry flavored pasta. It didn't go.
Okay.
It didn't go. In other words, we've tried different things that either make it or they don't make it. And it's just been a lot of fun doing that experiment for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Well, you can hear that this place is always busy. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The place has still got folks coming in and to sit down and get a late lunch. Tell me, what's the most popular item? Do you have a most popular item on the menu for lunch and or dinner?
I would put that into categories. Our pasta, our voodoo pasta is without question our most popular. If you're looking at steaks, it would be the Texas tails. They are the end cuts off of whole beef tenderloin. And so they're a super tender steak, and everybody really, really loves them. We had tried to go to just serving a straight barrel cut, center cut filet. And everybody was like, these are good, but give me my Texas tails back. That type of thing. So Texas tails on the steak line is our most popular. Sandwich-wise would be our burger. We're known for our burger. We've been awarded for our burger for a number of years. And so we'd have to say the burger was our most popular sandwich.
Well, we certainly want to invite our listeners in Nashville and all across the United States. When you're in Nashville, take that little 30-minute drive up to Springfield and check out the Depot.
Well, we appreciate that. We would love to entertain all sorts of new people. So,
what's the furthest client you've ever had?
Okay, so
you had somebody.
This is kind of a unique situation, being here at the Depot with a company in town called Hale and Cotton, another one called Electrolux, and another one that we've got in town that bring in people from overseas.
Okay.
Through Hale and Cotton alone, I know we've been visited by more than 35 countries.
You should keep that up. Yeah.
That has been one of the most awesome parts of this business is meeting people from other parts of the world. We had a group that was working with Electrolux one time from New Zealand. And so we brought in kangaroo steaks for them to eat. That was really fun because it, of course, introduced us to completely new items that we never would have had. And what was fun, what you learned, when we did this, we hadn't told the guys that we were going to do it.
It just adds to the charm of the podcast.
While we wait for the ambiance.
We're here at the depot with an actual train going by.
But when we brought the kangaroo in, you would think that they would be like, "Oh, wow, this is great," and they're like, "Yeah, we eat kangaroo all the time." They
had no idea you'd gone out of your way
exactly
to accommodate there.
And so that was just part of their everyday.
Did you try it? Tell us.
I did. It was awesome. I would never cook it more than about medium rare though, because it tends to get tough and dry.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they work out a lot boxing other kangaroos.
Yeah, no doubt.
Doug, thank you for your time. Do you want to say anything to the people in Nashville that should come up here and try you out? What would you say? Send the invite.
I would say come up, enjoy a great meal, a great cocktail, and just enjoy the beautifulness of this town because it is really, really awesome.
Thank you, Doug, for your time.
Thank
Continued
you.
success.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming out.
The folks over at the Depot Bar and Grill don't really need to advertise. The entire town of Springfield, Tennessee does that for them. Just listen to what some of the locals had to say when asked which restaurant in town was their favorite.
What's your favorite restaurant? You got a favorite restaurant?
The Depot.
And your favorite restaurant here in Springfield?
The Depot, of course.
That's great. You got a favorite restaurant in town?
I would have to say the Depot.
You got a favorite restaurant or shop here?
Depot is my favorite restaurant.
That's great. You guys got a favorite restaurant here?
Actually, I like the Depot.
That's great. Do you have a favorite restaurant or shop here?
I really like the Depot.
The locals love us, so we wanted you to know too. A superior menu that offers burgers, sandwiches, soups, salads, steaks, and seafood, along with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Come see us at the Depot in Springfield real soon. We're easy to find. Just ask anyone in town. They'll tell you how to get there.
Brent Bunn, kitchen manager, Presley Green, server, Staci Atkins, general manager and owner, along with Shelia Head, manager and pie baker extraordinaire, the Catfish House.
Hello, I'm here with Brent, Presley, and Staci. Brent is the kitchen manager here at the Catfish House. Presley is their favored server. She's not really the favorite server, but the customers, she'll tell you she is. And Staci, the general manager, chief cook, bottle washer, cleans the parking lot, does anything that needs to be done. This is her family's business. And I want to thank you folks for joining us on the Pod 615. I am a fan of your food. Before I even thought about having you guys on the show and creating this destination series, Springfield, I found the catfish here amazing. In fact, so amazing I haven't tried anything else. Tell us about the menu here. It's pretty full, though. It's got a lot of other items.
Oh, yeah. Besides the fish, the whole fish, we got the seafoods, shrimp, hamburger steaks, chicken, seafood platters, onion rings, green beans.
Crab cakes.
Crab cakes, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Salmon. Salmon's really good.
Good deal. Presley,
Yes.
What's the most ordered item? You've been a server
Catfish.
for how long now? 5.5 years?
Correct.
Is
Catfish for sure.
Which version?
Fillets. Not a lot of whole fish. Fillets mostly.
You don't sell a lot of whole catfish?
Some of the older people.
But don't take it away. That's my favorite thing in the world. Staci, tell me about the restaurant when it is originally started in Clarksville, I believe, and it came here in what year?
1993. It opened up.
What do people like here besides Presley and the great service here? What do they come for?
The food. I mean, if the food's great, people are going to come. Now, you need other things than that, too. You need atmosphere, friendly people. But if the food's good, people are going to come. And then people are happy about it. So it makes everybody else happy. And so with that, it just completes the restaurant.
Brent, tell me what makes your catfish different. What's special about it? I know it's fresh.
Right. It's fresh.
Tell me about it.
Well, it comes already skinned. So you don't have all the time in cleaning it. It comes without bones. And the best thing about it is I love our breading. Our breading's great. But it's just fresh, and it's from Mississippi. You know, a lot of people will say they got catfish, and they don't. We got the real deal. I mean, anytime anybody wants to check it out, come on, check it out. But it's the real deal, and it's great. I love it. I eat it all the time, and I'm not tired of it a bit.
Yeah, well, I'm not tired of it either. I'll make the trip up here to have it. Presley, who's the most interesting customer you've ever had?
Whew. I don't
Well,
know.
let me rephrase this. You offered all-you-can-eat catfish. What's the most catfish you've ever seen anybody eat?
I think one time got like 15 pieces.
A fillet or the whole?
Yeah, 15 fillets. It was
That's
something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen 20.
You've seen 20?
Mm-hmm. Guys,
Staci,
20 pieces.
what have you seen?
Well, I don't really like to push the amount, so I like to,
Yeah, we wanna keep-
offer them some dessert or something, you know, at that point.
Okay, we're not having a challenge here. Don't come up here and try to put them out of business. We want to keep them in business.
They can surely get it, though. We'll give it
Maybe
to
we
them.
need to edit that question out.
Or just Staci's response.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things here, too, the best white beans and coleslaw I've ever had. I haven't tried the other. I've had the mayonnaise, but it's incredible. Is that a recipe you're willing to share with me, or they just got to come here to get it?
You got to come here to get it. It's not that hard. You know, we don't put pork in our beans. A lot of people like that, but a lot of people don't. You know, but we don't put pork in our beans. It's just, you know, just a little bit of here, this, a little of that, you know.
Oh, so if you're a vegetarian, you can come over here and eat the beans and the coleslaw.
We get that a lot of questions about pork, but no, we don't
It's
put it in
amazing.
there.
I would not have known that. They taste incredible.
Yep, it's great.
Presley, how long have you worked here now?
5.5 years.
That says a lot. There's been a lot of people. You have an employee here, Staci, don't you, that's been here since the beginning, around, what, 1992?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
When you came here?
he said that he put the sod down originally on the front of this building, like in the yard. So
That
he-
speaks a lot to the kind of family businesses that people would come here and stay here that long. And you don't have a lot of turnover here, do you?
No, we don't. We
That
have a
speaks
lot
a
of
lot.
families that their siblings work here and their
We got like
friends.
six sets of sisters that work here.
That's incredible.
It's something crazy like that, yeah.
That's fantastic. And so what about the people that don't want catfish? What options do you have there?
Oh, anything you'd want. Like I said, we had chicken, shrimp. A lot of people are doing shrimp these days, but a lot of people over hamburger steaks comes covered with grilled onions, mushrooms, cheese. A lot of people love that. And I think, you know, clam strips, crab cakes. So, you know, there's a lot of options besides fish here. You can pretty much anything on the menu somebody will love. My personal favorite's the blackened catfish, by the way, but
And we hand cut our steaks.
oh yeah,
too.
forget my steaks, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of steaks do you have?
Ribeyes and sirloins.
Wonderful. And those are available for lunch and dinner?
Oh yes,
So
everything
the
is.
menu's full for both lunch and dinner.
Yes,
So
sir.
speaking of that, tell us about your hours.
Monday through Thursday, we open from 4 to 8:30. Fridays from 11 till 9. Also 11 to 9 on Sunday or Saturday, and then Sunday is 11 to 8.
Okay, and what would you say to the people in Nashville that haven't come up here to try you out yet?
We do get a lot of people from Nashville. A lot of people. Hendersonville, Bowling Green, Franklin. We've heard people come out here out of state. A lot of people will say that. It's like, we came out of state to eat here. I'm sure they were visiting people, but when people come here to eat when they come to town to meet people or to see their family, they eat here all the time. It's amazing that you find that many people. It's shocking, kind of, but not really. It's good food.
I want to ask Presley, what's the furthest distance of a customer you've ever had that you know about?
There was like a trucker one time that said that he asked for that route just so he could come here to eat. And he came in here and ate and told us about it.
So you had a trucker
It
that
was, he
had his
literally
route
mhm.
to come through Springfield so he could stop here and eat the catfish. Besides great food, you have people like Presley and other servers here that make everybody feel at home.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the people we get here that work are usually friends of the employees that are already here. So we just keep on getting good people because the people are here, tell us who they're friends with, and so we get them in here, and they work very well. You usually just don't see the turnover. Everybody loves working here when they come to work here. It's astounding.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It really is a family.
But the customers know that as well, right? The customers
Yeah.
feel
Mhm.
welcome here. How many regular customers would you say you have, Presley?
I have a couple that I get on Sunday a lot. There's a couple couples that come in that I always wait on. Some of the other servers, they'll have people like request them specifically. Like we have a server, Megan. She gets a lot of regulars because she's been here for like 11 or 12 years serving. So I don't know, 4 or 5 that I see pretty frequent every week. We have a lot of people come every week. Some
you have
people
a
come,
lot of regulars.
Yes,
Lots.
lots of regulars.
People that come here since it's opened. I'll look out front and I'll say, oh, I saw him 20 years ago, and they're still coming in here. It really is. They come in here 2 or 3 times a week.
All right. Shelia, how are you? Shelia just joined us. I understand she is the glue for the Catfish House. She holds everything together. You should have heard them talking about you. Were your ears burning?
A little bit.
You are the grandmother of this establishment. You've adopted every employee here.
That's true.
And you're also the pie baker. Tell me about the pies.
I make the chocolate, the coconut, and the lemon icebox pies. I've got it down to where I can do 16 pies in 2.5 hours.
16 pies in 2.5 hours?
That's right.
Do you sell these during the holidays too? Is that something
we have?
Mm-hmm. So they start pre-ordering for Thanksgiving and Christmas too. They can come see you. Now tell me about, I'm going to let them speak about you, Shelia. Brent, tell me about Shelia. How she helps run this place.
Oh, she's great. First of all, I saw her for 7 years here. I saw her more than my own mom, okay? So that pretty much tells you that. And I've worked with her all this time, known her. She is like a mom to me. She really is. I love her like a mom. And that's all you really need to know about her. That's how great she is.
Wow. Staci, you were saying some wonderful things about her.
She'd be like that to everyone. Everyone that comes into this place and they come back to see Shelia, and every child has been touched by her. She'll sew up their stuff. She made them all special aprons with their names on them just because she wanted to. Like, she just literally is amazing, and I'm so grateful for her all the time. And to me, she's another grandmother to me, and she's known both of my
both of your grandmothers.
Both of my grandmothers, and she is right there with them, and I just love her to death.
Well, that's a blessing and a testimony, the kind of business you can find here at the Catfish House. So, and don't forget, folks, when you're up here, to come here and get some of Sheila's. And what pies do you have?
They have homemade coconut, chocolate, and lemon icebox.
Those are your 3? Mm-hmm. Those are the go-to, so don't forget to save room for dessert. Thanks for being with us today on the show, folks.
Thank you.
Much success.
Thanks.
There's a restaurant here in Springfield, Tennessee. It used to be a secret, like that old fishing hole your grandfather took you to. Well, the word got out. It's not a secret anymore. Unfortunately, like that old fishing hole, the catfish are always on the line. I'm talking about the Catfish House here at 3424 Tom Austin Highway. It's always busy, but like your grandmother's table, there's always room for some more folks. There's a little bit of everything on the menu here, from catfish, seafood and steaks to burgers and chicken in a variety of ways. And not to mention, best-tasting white beans and coleslaw east or west of that old Catfish Creek, the Mississippi River. We're open for dinner every day of the week, and we'll even fix you some lunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So visit us online at thecatfishhouse.com and make plans to come join us here in Springfield, Tennessee soon.
Zahn Public Affairs Coordinator, City of Springfield, Tennessee.
All right, I'm here today with Kara Zahn, who is the Public Relations Coordinator for the City of Springfield. Kara, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I love this city. We're enamored with it. Tell me about the growth here. Exploding, isn't it?
It really is. Well, we're happy to have you in Springfield. We always welcome people to visit and or reside here. We love to serve our customers. Customer service is number one here. But yeah, Springfield, we are prepared for the growth. So if you've heard anything about Springfield for the past couple of years, it's the fact that we're growing. We are just right outside of Nashville, and our city leaders are prepared for it. So we're planning for the future. We have secured, this is kind of boring, but when people are looking to move places, they do want to know, but we have a new wastewater treatment plant. So we are prepared for more homes to be built and more people to be in Springfield.
A lot of development going on right now?
Absolutely. So we are actually continuing a Batson Parkway extension. We have just recently worked with the state to get that to be done. That's a big deal. And that, like you said, that does lead into our growth that we have. And we have a ton of development that's coming here in the next just 2 years. So back in July 2022, we actually had 3,128 new residential units approved. So what that means, it's been through the city planning process and has actually been approved by our city planners. So that is just a fraction of what is coming here in Springfield.
All right, Kara, I understand that you have a great golf course here. People can come and play. It's a public course. Tell me about, is it Legacy?
Yes. So the Legacy Golf Course right here in Springfield, it's a little hidden gem, a lot of people like to say. We're outside of Nashville, so we do have a lot of like bachelor parties that come, that come, take advantage of the course. Or if you just want to play a really great course, not in Nashville, a lot of people like to come visit us. So it is actually designed by PGA Hall of Fame player Raymond Floyd. So that brings a lot of people to the Legacy. We actually had Austin Peay State University's women golf tournament hosted here in 2021.
Sounds like a fun course. I need to get my sticks and come back up here, and it's worth the trip, right?
Absolutely.
From anywhere in the state of Tennessee.
Absolutely.
What do you, Golf Digest talked about it? What did they say?
Yeah, so Golf Digest actually named the Legacy Golf Course as one of the top places to play in Tennessee as a municipal golf course. So we're very thankful to be at the top of that list.
Tell me about the Parks and Recreation Department. What else do they oversee here? How many parks? And you got a dog park? What do you got?
Yes. So we do have 5 parks that we have here in Springfield. We are an award-winning Parks and Recreational. So we were Parks and Recreation Department. Tennessee Municipal League in 2022 has named us Excellence Award in Parks and Recreation. So several things that a lot of our residents really love that we hear about on social media is our greenway system. So it is a 4-mile greenway system that goes through downtown and multiple parks. And we are hoping to continue growing that so that it will be a system that you can go throughout the entire city of Springfield on our greenway. And then we do offer sports leagues to our residents here in Springfield as well. We have a lot of county residents, Robertson County residents, that come to participate in our programs. So our programs are booming. The more people that move here, the bigger our programs are getting. So we are thankful to serve so many children in Springfield.
Well, the folks I interviewed on the street, I asked them what they liked best about living in Springfield. And they just talked about the sense of community here and all the friendly folks here. And they had a lot of favorite restaurants and shops. You got a lot of those here, too. A lot of mom and pop businesses, and business seems to be booming. So with that in mind, how do you plan to keep that small town charm with all that growth that you're experiencing?
Great question. So here in the city of Springfield, our city leaders are passionate about customer service. And we are a full service city. And to keep that charm, we want to make sure that we are serving our residents to the best of our ability, that we are coming up with programs, activities, we're keeping up with the streets. We're able to offer sanitation for all of those people within the city limits. So we are constantly finding ways to continue to serve those that are here and to serve those that are coming in.
One of the things I noticed about the city, all the meters were painted, I think by Willow Oak, one of your businesses here that's a nonprofit art center here, which is a great facility. But I noticed the trash cans were painted too.
Yeah.
You had out on First Friday. Who did that? Was that Parks and Recreation, or was that another organization?
So that's actually our Public Works department. So we have a very passionate department head that is working towards community art projects. And you mentioned the manholes. Those are awesome. So if you go around downtown Springfield, there's a few places where we've partnered with some local artists to paint the manholes, which seems like a very simple project, but it has really, you can stop places, and it's a cause for conversation. And then the event trash cans. So you were here for the First Friday Night Market, and those trash cans are specifically for our special events that we're involved in. And so we worked with a lot of high schools in this area to have their students paint those trash cans. So we're very proud of that project and hope to continue it year to year.
How can folks find out what's going on in Springfield? Do you go to a website? Do you have a newsletter? How do people stay informed about what's happening here in Springfield?
Absolutely. So we're thankful to be on just about everything. We do have a website, springfieldtn.gov. We are also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And you can actually watch our Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings live on YouTube. So we stream those once a month, third Tuesday of the month. So after the fact, if you wanted to go on there, you could just watch the video itself. We have a lot of people that actually tune in for our meetings.
Which would be important if you're planning on looking for a home here.
Springfield,
see what's going on in the city.
That's right.
What about events and special stuff coming up?
Yes, social media is really useful here in Springfield. A lot of people, Facebook is probably our number one platform to post on, but we have a monthly newsletter. So if you aren't on social media and you maybe don't want to be getting a notification for everything, we do have a monthly newsletter that we put out about a week or two before the next month. It has all of our upcoming events and a full list of things to do in Springfield.
Awesome. And where do people sign up for that newsletter?
You can visit our website at springfieldtn.gov and go to things to do, and it will show you the newsletter link that you can sign up.
That's great. Well, you've got my wife and I, so we're thinking about moving here soon. So we're enjoying our time here. Thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Pod 615 with host William Kitchens. We hope you'll subscribe to the podcast on this streaming platform and give us a 5-star rating and review. Follow us on Instagram at the Pod 615 and on Facebook.com/Pod 615. Find us on the internet at pod615.com for blogs, show notes, and transcripts. Would you like to be on the show? Have someone you'd like to hear interviewed? Pod 615 also offers featured guest opportunities for qualifying subject matter. Email William at pod615.com for more information about this and other podcast production opportunities. Thanks again for listening.